Hey, welcome to the Sculptin Live show here at the Bombshell Factory. It's just a little bit after 6 o'clock, so I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to kind of chatter at you guys for a few minutes and kind of give you an update on what was going on this week. Give some people time to join in if they're coming in late. This week I'm going to be sculpting on some more fish guys, or shark guys rather. Let's see, what was going on since the last episode? Our last episode, we were talking about 3D printing, and we had gotten our new 8K Frozen Sonic mini printers in, and so I finally was able to get those set up over the weekend. And I did some test prints, and I've been mixing resins. I guess we talked about resins and stuff last week too, but I've been using the Aqua Gray and the Onyx High Impact, which is kind of a pricey resin, and it's really thick and gooey, and it takes a long time for it to cure. Let's see, what is the exposure times or whatever on it have to be a little bit higher than the regular aqua resin, and so the print batches take a little bit longer because the exposures have to be longer than just the regular aqua resin. So hey, it looks like Shane has dropped into the chat. Glad you could join us. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate you staying up and hanging out with us while I'm doing the sculpting thing. So we were talking about some stuff that we got done. Let's see, we've got a couple of promos in the web store. I'll show you guys. Shopcat will tell you about that at the end of the show. And we've got some more progress on the Kickstarter project. So what I'm going to be sculpting tonight is another character that is going to go in the set of 8 miniatures that we're going to offer on the Kickstarter project. Now you'll get that set as part of the rewards tiers on the project, but they'll also be available individually in the web store, afterwards, for regular sales. So, and depending on how we decide to divide them up, they may be like a set of 3 Alanti, characters, or they may be individual characters or something like that. We haven't really decided how we're going to parse those out, but since they're going to be sculpted digitally, I'll be putting those STL files over on my mini factory, and they should be available on Only Games for print on demand over there. So excuse me. And they'll also be available on Drive-Thru RPG. I'm trying to get our STL files set up on Drive-Thru RPG, but how it's like every website is different, so the way that you upload your files and put the descriptions in and do all the stuff over on my mini factory is different from Drive-Thru RPG. So I've got to kind of figure out what they require in order to post those files and so forth. But I want to try to get some of the existing Counterblast figures posted over there between now and when we launch, or while we're running the Kickstarter campaign. So here's what I've got left to do. We're launching the Kickstarter on Monday, March the 27th, and Vicky and I have talked about whether we're going to, we're going to try to live stream the Kickstarter launch. And so I'm trying to kind of figure out how we're going to do that. I'm going to need to move some stuff around in the studio, probably like our webcams and stuff like that. She's got a webcam over here on the painting bench, so we'll have to move some stuff around and kind of figure out how we want to do that. But I thought it would be kind of fun, and that way, we'll have a little chat since we're going to be live on YouTube, kind of like what we're doing tonight, but it won't be like ZBrush or whatever. Actually, we probably show the Kickstarter launch and see the backers and stuff coming in and commenting on the comments page and so forth. So I thought that would be kind of fun. So I'll announce what time we're going to be launching the campaign as it gets a little bit closer to that, and I'll post a link and so forth. But I still I still have these characters to sculpt. So once I get finished with the Alanti character that I'm sculpting on tonight, which I'll probably block a lot of that character out, and I'll kind of get into that here in just a second. But then we're going to post those, and I need to update the Kickstarter project with the pictures and so forth and get the page ready. I'm going to try to do that this weekend. But I also have the cover of the role-playing game book to finish. I'm working on the art, so I've got some characters that I'm going to render out and do a little bit of Photoshop work on in order to get the rest of the cover finished, so that I can post that for the project. So I have to get the sculpts finished in order to get the renders, in order to finish the art, in order to post the cover of the book for the Kickstarter campaign. So I've got about a week left before I've got to start sending out those art assets to the places where we're going to advertise that. I've got a couple of ad spots on another YouTube channel, or actually on a couple of YouTube channels. So I'm hoping that that will help our campaign, reach some additional backers and so forth. So let's see. Check the chat here. Oh, the shelves behind. Yeah, okay. You're talking about how they're kind of sagging, where the spray cans and so forth. Yeah, that's I should have put extra brackets on the shelves, because they're really not rated for the kind of weight that they've got. And so what happened was, before we got the HVAC installed, hey Brian, thanks for dropping in. We're just talking about our sagging shelves back here in the studio. Yeah, hang out with us, for a little bit. Actually, I'm going to try to get to do some sculpting here in just a second. But trying to finish chattering. But what happened was, before we got the HVAC installed, I had put these shelves in, but there was a change in the humidity, and like everything in here was coated with condensation one morning when we had come into the shop. And actually it was several mornings in a row where everything was kind of wet, and I was kind of afraid of for the electronics and things, but it didn't cause any damage, but it did cause the shelves to sag. So I need to get up there and reinforce those. But yeah, it looks dangerous, but they're still pretty durable, so they're holding up. But let's go ahead and jump into this, and I'll show you guys what I've been working on. So this is Zari, and I think I can't remember if I showed a picture of her last week or not, but I know I posted like a work in progress picture over on Facebook. But this is a character that was based on some art that we had in the Counterblast 2nd edition book. And let me see, I've got the art right here. We'll open her up. Here we go. Yeah. So this was the art that we got. And there we go. Okay. And I can't remember what the artist's name is, but it's posted in the book. And so he drew this really awesome character, and so we've had a lot of comments, that there needs to be a sculpt of her. So I was able to do this. This is going to be one of the characters that's in the Counterblast Kickstarter set. So I was able to get that. I finished posing her up today, and so it's exported and ready to print. So she's got her little equipment pouches and backpack and so forth. And I'm not sure exactly what this doodad is that she's holding. It looks like some kind of ship part. I guess she's, kind of an engineer tech kind of a character. And she's also got her rebreather, which the Alanti can breathe air and water. But they can spend a certain amount of time out of the water. But unless they have a rebreather apparatus, they have to go back in the water for a certain amount of time So, but that's all detailed in the rule book. But anyway, but that's what she's got. So she didn't have to worry about, going back to the water, and hanging out in there for a while. So anyway, yeah, pretty excited about being able to get this on the printer, especially being able to run her, on one of the new 8K printers and everything. So once I get some prints of that finished up, I'll take some shots of it and I'll show you guys next week and post those on Facebook. So what we're working on tonight is I'm going to do kind of a conversion of the sculpt that we did before. So this is the base mesh that I had made a while back for the Spar character, and Spar is already out, so he's in the web store now. You can get copies of that and paint him up. Plus his stats are also in the Jumpstart for Savage World, the Jumpstart PDF. So there's Savage World stats in there for him. But anyway, so I had finished that sculpt, and so I kind of wanted to go back to some of the parts for that, and I'm doing what basically is, in traditional sculpting is called a conversion. So like when I would sculpt in putty before, like back in the day, a lot of times you could do like a dolly, which is like where you sculpt part of the character, or like you would do like 3 different sets of legs and then just like a basic torso blank and, maybe some basic arms or whatever. And then you would have those cast, the master's cast. And then, I would take that and then sculpt different details and so forth on it. And if you go back to like the original Eldar figures, like you look at like the metal, the old first, Eldar figures that Jess Goodwin sculpted, you can see that they relied on conversion models quite a bit in that regard. With digital, I've got a little bit more latitude, so I can kind of go back to some of the original files and grab pieces and so forth, and kind of kit bash what I want, and then change it up so that it's different enough and posed differently, but it helps me to use some of the existing assets in order to kind of save a little bit of time. And since I've got, let's see, 5 more sculpts to finish between now and next Wednesday, and do the art, for them. So I'm kind of in a crunch zone here. So I want to try to get this guy finished up as soon as possible. So what I did was I ported over Spar's boots and his legs and kind of repositioned those a little bit, because Alanti stuff is going to be Alanti stuff, so the style is going to be the same. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change some stuff on the belt, and I kind of like what I did with the arms, so I may keep that, but instead of the I guess the suit top that Spar had, I think I may sculpt a vest and maybe some other equipment that will set this particular guy apart. Plus, he's also not going to have the hammerhead head that Spar has. I'm going to do kind of a more shark-like head. So I'm going to kind of start with that. And I went ahead and imported a sphere object so I could go ahead and start sculpting that. And so this is what I'm going to start from. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and work with the sphere. Oh, and just so that you can see, this was Spar's original body. So the torso that I had on this, I kind of want to keep the shoulder pads and the collar and so forth. And I'll just port those over to the new torso once we get that done, and have different I guess seams and design and so forth on that. And then, like I said, I may give him a vest or something over that, or what I have I haven't decided, so we'll kind of work through that. But the first thing I want to do is try to get sort of a shark shaped head out of this sphere object. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of squash that. Let's see. I think I want to taper that. Ooh, that's not what I want to do. So I think I want to taper it And I'm not even going to look at, ooh, that's too much. Okay. I'm not even going to look at shark reference for it. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it because they're not real sharks. I mean, they're shark-like, but they're really, they're aliens. So I think I've got a little bit of latitude on, what I'm doing on that. So let's see. Let's do this. And what? Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's going to give us a good start, I think. That's a little bit wide. So, okay, yeah. All right, and then I want to take a look and compare what it's going to look like on the torso. So he's going to need some kind of a neck. So let's do this. And I think, yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll add another sphere and then mesh those together in order to kind of give him a place to put that collar. So it's kind of funny because like when you look at works from like Games Workshop, their heads are kind of like stuck in the middle of their chest because they're hunched over so much. And while that's an aesthetic, that they've kind of, I guess not really pioneered, but that's a distinctive aesthetic of like their orc designs and so forth. I kind of want to stay away from that sort of thing. So I want to try to give him, more of a neck and and give him, kind of increase the height. And speaking of that, I kind of wanted to check his height against my base Brack Maxter figure, and it's like, well, he's super big. So I think what I'm going to have to do is go in and kind of adjust some of these proportions and everything, because, yeah, that's a pretty big shark dude. So let's see. Let's put you out here. Yeah, that would put his head up here. So I don't know. He's not as tall as a Niran, so we'll see. I can make some adjustments and stuff later. That's the cool thing about that too. Because it's like, back, sculpting in the putty days, you had to make sure that your armature was like spot on, and I have to look at, like I would have companies send me reference models and all of this in order to make sure that, whatever I was sculpting, fit in with like their other figures and so forth. And, oh, hey, it looks like James has popped in on the chat. Hey, James, glad you could join us. Thanks for coming in, sitting in with us tonight. Hope you're able to get some hobby stuff done, do some hobbying while we're going through the old ZBrush in here. So okay, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go over to the geometry tab, and no, I'm gonna go to Z remesher, and I'm gonna select half because I want it to reduce the amount of the resolution on it, so it's going to be easier to kind of work with. Yeah, there we go. And I'll bounce back. Oh, that's kind of weird. So I'm going to turn symmetry back on. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, there we go. And so then it'll remap that geometry to the new shape. So that'll give me something to kind of work with. So, okay, so let's go ahead and add that sphere in there, and we'll give him kind of a neck. So now he's got a pot belly. That's great. All right. And what I'd like to do is well. Let's see if that'll work. Yeah, because what I'm looking at is the curvature of this curvature right here, like the top of the head. This I can go and smooth out underneath, but I want to, yeah, I want to add that right there. Okay, and so let's pull his snoot in just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Grab the move tool here and kind of fishify that. So I want this all to sort of blend together when I mesh those together here in just a moment. Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking that that'll work. All right. So let's go back over to our geometry tab, and I'm going to punch up the resolution on that snout, and then I want to punch up the resolution on that, and then delete those dynamic layers. Let's see. Yeah, the pot belly was I don't know, that was a little much. Maybe I might do another potbelly Alanti character at some point. And so we'll see. Let's see. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm gonna merge those together until it, yes. Okay. And then I want to go to Dynamesh, and I'm going to pick about 512 for the resolution on that, and let's polish it up while I'm at it, and we'll see how that looks merged together. So that didn't take long at all. Okay, cool. Kind of smooth that out, and let's hide that, and we'll look at his jaw line under here. Yeah, that's fairly convincing. Okay, so let's go back to Z remesher. We'll select half, and let's see. Do I have? Need to go and turn symmetry back on if I haven't, and remesh that. Time for some water. Stay hydrated, kids. Okay. All right, so we'll keep meshing this down until we get to something that's fairly blocky looking. Okay, that should be enough. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so what that's going to do is that's going to give me an opportunity to go in and grab some of this. Actually, let's look at where the neck connects onto the torso. Oh, I got it soloed. Okay, so yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do is kind of bring this in just a little bit. And then the collar will go up around there, so that'll be just about right. And then I may put a fin or something back here, kind of like Zari has. So, but we can kind of decide to do that later. Okay, so at this point, let's go ahead and turn off some of this other stuff so I can work just on the head. And now that it's all one piece, I'm going to go ahead and actually name that head, so I'll know what it is in the list. Let's see what's going on over in the chat here. Chubby space shark, corner of the market now. Yeah, that's what I need. I need to do a space shark of me because I would be the chubby space shark. So I kind of picture myself more as an Illyrian, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. Composite mold. Dug out your composite mold. I guess I'm not familiar with that. Quickie mold for the backside of the scutter so you can make a clear... Oh, you're going to do a clear resin insert of that. Oh, okay. Well, hey, let me tell you, we were talking about 3D printing and stuff at the beginning of the show, and I have one, because we got 3 printers, and so I've dedicated one of those to clear resin printing, and so I haven't been able to get it configured yet. I've run a couple of tests on it, but they haven't come out. So I've got to figure out what the settings are for the clear resin. I checked over on the Frozen site, and they've got, like a starting like a profile. Actually, it was cool because I uploaded I installed the update for Chitabox this week because I didn't have any of the I had the old version of it, and I didn't have any of the new settings for the 8K printer, so I had to kind of install the new version of it and then go back and kind of reset all my profiles. And so I was able to get the other printers with the gray resin running, so they're printing now. Actually, I'm printing out some more. Let's see, what is it running? Cloning arrays. I'm running parts for cloning arrays, so we'll have some of those because we're out of stock. And but I ran a few tests on the printer with the clear resin, and it was I don't know, they didn't come out. So I mean, using the default settings on it, so I'm gonna have to go and use my little gauge STL file and run some exposure tests on it to see if I can get the clear resin to run on that printer. In the meantime, everything else is up and running, but I'd like to be able to try to run, flight stands and bubble helmets and all of that type of stuff that we had talked about previously. So anyway, so I'm going to try to work on that some more this week and this weekend and see if I can get the clear resin running. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get the bottom jaw kind of shaped. And it's like, well, I know sharks don't really have, they have, a jawbone, but it doesn't really quite look like this. But there again, it's not supposed to be an actual shark. It's supposed to be a shark alien thing. So I'm taking a lot of artistic license with these designs to kind of, I'm trying to factor in the coolness of it. But this right here is kind of an important thing. And this is, you'll see this like in a lot of, actual sharks, is this nose line will run right up into their eye line. So I'm going to remesh this so that I can try to get the software to run these ridges for their eyes. And it worked on Zari. Zari's got a great line that runs from the tip of her nose all the way up through her eye ridge. And then when I did the poly paint on it, and this was all, the light color and a dark color on the top, it looked super great. So I really like how that looked. So I'm going to try to replicate that again with this particular shark head. So and ordinarily see, it's following that line right there, bam, like right up across the top of that. So it's working for me. Let's just inflate that out a little bit, a little piece at a time. See how that goes. We'll probably want some cheekbone in there, and then I'm thinking that this jaw will probably be right around here. I would imagine, like right at the back of the eye, back of the eye ridge. So, okay, that's going to be close enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remesh that and try to get the topology following that line again. So I'm going to zip over here, and I want to keep the same. I want to keep the same resolution on it. I just want it to remap the geometry on there. Let's see. Formlabs actually 3D printed camera lens. Holy cow! Boy, that is super cool. The trick is polishing and then recoding the print. Yeah. What I had done before is I printed, when I had the Anycubic Photon that we started out with, I ran some like clear resin in that, and it printed great. And then I kind of sanded it because there were still build lines on it. It was, a lot lower resolution than the what I've got now. But so I sanded it down, and then I shot it with Krylon UV clear coat, and they came out great. So that, and it also keeps them from kind of yellowing because it's got a UV protection in it. Yeah, Brian, that's what I've been using, is the cones of calibration from what's it called, table flip foundry. Let's see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's what I've run on the 8K printer. So I've got the little cones calibrated here, and I'm running this particular resin, which is the 60/40 mix of aqua gray and onyx high impact. 6.25 seconds is what I've had to run that at, because the onyx gray it's like, if you just run the onyx by itself, it's got like a 25 to 30 second exposure on it is what they recommend. And it's just like, that is super long. And I can imagine that like a big print out of that stuff would take days to print at like 2.02 millimeter layer height. So let's see, Ceratech navy gray, a bit brittle. The EPAC's hard is super brittle and really it's really hard. So I've relegated basically all of the EPAC stuff to like printing bases and scenery and stuff. What would be really great is if Frozen would like mix the aqua gray and onyx, like a pre-mix, and bottle that and put it out. It would be really convenient, for those of us that are doing that kind of thing. I had initially been following this painter over on Instagram called what's his name, Colonel Festus, and he's been printing a lot of like Imperial Guard, like and I can't remember. I downloaded them too. I went and got the STL files because they're super cool looking. But he was posting some stuff over in the Frozen Facebook group about mixing, about doing the resin mix. And so I had started testing that to see how it would come out a few weeks ago. And I got great results on the 4K printer. And so, because he's got an 8K printer that he's been testing it on. And his prints came out super great. So that's where I got the idea for that. And I'm hoping that, if we could pester Frozen, they'll actually bottle that and start selling it like pre-mixed. Let's see if I can get that shaped up a little more. Okay. Chatty, chat. Okay. Let's see what you got. Yeah, but I might have to check out that Soraya Tech Navy Gray and, give it a shot and see how that comes out. Let's see. Composite mold is a reusable gel material that can be heated in the microwave and used to pour molds. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. I had gotten, yeah, I haven't heard of that. That's really cool. I might have to snag some of that and test it out. I had gotten some stuff from Cool Mini or whatever years ago. Little sticks of, what basically, it's like hot glue. And you put it in like hot water, like microwave it like that. And it softens up and then you can press mold stuff. And then when it cools, it takes the shape and you can reuse it. So, but I only did a couple of things with that and they came out okay. So, let's see, let's go ahead and remesh that now. Ooh, that's a little too much. That's not what I wanted. Let's do this. Yeah, I don't. So I'm getting some kind of weird stretching and stuff in that area. Okay. All right. That'll be a good start. Let's run that the same. Okay, so I'm going to run that a couple more times and see if I can get this to smooth out a little bit. Actually, let me turn that off. Turn off those poly groups. Yeah, close enough. All right, that'll give me something to kind of work with. Okay, first off, I'm going to take care of this seam. But anyway, James, post some pictures of that process over in the counter or the Bombshell group or somewhere, and show us your process on that because I'm curious about that. I'd like to see how that works out. That sounds like an interesting process. Oh man, he is sharkerific. Holy cow. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's do this. We'll make two different versions of this guy. Let's see. Sorry, I take Tenacious. Yeah, I've heard about the Tenacious. It's pricey, but most people put about 10 to 15% in the mix. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you kind of spread it out over the course of several bottles of the regular stuff. That's kind of the way that this Onyx High Impact stuff is from Frozen. It's I want to say it's like $90 a bottle. It's like 80 or 90. You can get it. I got it on Amazon for like $80 because they had it cheaper than what they were selling it for over on the Frozen site. But it's like, man, it's pricey. So I've been mixing it like 20% into the other resin. So like it basically just bumps the bottle, like the bottle of Aqua that I get's $37, like $40. Okay. So by the time that you put, another 20% of the Onyx into it, it kind of adds like another $10 onto the bottle. So, you spread that out over 5 bottles and it's like, man, it's not really too bad. I don't guess. Composite mold is more for tinker types. So make impressive putty. More like what you described. Okay, yeah, that might be kind of similar to the thing that I was thinking of, the impressive stuff. Yeah, yeah. Share pics. That's great. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna inflate that a little more. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the Orb Cracks brush and kind of put a crease in there where the eye socket is gonna go. So, and let's see. Let's go ahead and start kind of blocking that in. Looks kind of dinosaur-like, but you know, there were sharks back in the dinosaur days. Okay, and I think what I need to do is this. Let's see, where's his torso? Yeah, and then once we get the shoulders on there, yeah, I think that might work. That might work. Let's bring this up here just a little bit. Okay, so then what I need to do is, let me hide that again, and I'm going to pull out, let's see, will that do it? Open up my light caps here. Let me see if I got which one I've got. There we go. I was having problems seeing that. Okay, yeah, that's easier to see. Okay, so let's run back over to Z-Remesher and we'll run that again. Let's see. I'm going to grab this guy's eyes. So I don't have to make any. Let's see. Let's center those. Yeah, I think that's about right. Okay, so we've got the eyes in there, and that's going to give me a oh man, it's very tough to like do stuff and talk about it at the same time. So yeah, that's going to give me a point of reference. So now that I've got the eye placed in there, I can kind of tell, you know, this is where I want the proportions to go. It's like, well, is the snout long enough? Is it too long for, you know, what I'm wanting to show, or what? So then I can kind of tell how I want the rest of the proportions to go. Okay, so let's go back up to the head object and kind of smooth out some of that. All right. So let me punch up the resolution on it a little bit. Yeah. And that's going to give me some sculpting latitude. Might want to try sculpting with the right end of the pen. Okay. Let's see if I can do that. No. Well, it looks like that this week is St. Patrick's Day here in the U.S. That's I couldn't even really tell you about it. Unfortunately, not being an Irish person myself, um, but it's a really great excuse to wear green and drink beer and do all of that kind of fun stuff. You know, kiss me, I'm Irish type of thing. So I don't really have any plans for St. Patrick's Day this weekend. Last weekend, and it's funny because it falls on a Friday, and so Dallas celebrated it last weekend, so it was like a whole week early here. So there was a parade and bands playing at bars and all of that kind of fun stuff. So kind of missed out on all of that. But I don't know if you guys have any St. Patrick's Day plans or whatever coming up this weekend. Friday, also being the 17th, is Shaston's birthday. Shaston is our oldest cat, and he is going to be 12 years old, 13? 12 or 13. Yeah, so he's been with us for quite a while. So let's see what's going on over here. Anything? Where's he got the stuff you use? Making molds. GW's architectural compounds. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Make hydrocal copies. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I've got hydrocal that I had used in those Hearst Arts molds. That you get the little silicone molds, and you can make like um, brick walls and brick buildings and that sort of thing. So yeah, I've made a few of those. Let's see. He chased some snakes off the island, I think. Yeah, right. Yeah. St. Patrick. Yeah, that's the backstory on that. So yeah, James, as a Sullivan, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can Z remesh that again. Geometry and remesher. Okay. Let's see if it's going to clear up some of this stretching and stuff that I've got like around the mouth that's bothering me. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's cleared it up. Okay, and it's kind of working around the eye. I'm gonna run it one more time and see if I can get it to smooth out some of this stuff. Of course, when I increase the resolution on it, it'll smooth it out anyway. But it does create weird artifacts when you're trying to sculpt details over some of those areas, and the mesh is going different directions, like this cross hatching or whatever that's going on across the eyebrow right here. That's got some weird looking stuff. So, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I think this is good as a base mesh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back over to my base mesh here. And let's see. Let's go ahead and merge that down. We'll turn the eye color back on. And then we're going to put that over here. Insert head. Okay. So that'll work on that guy too. Actually, I'm kind of scale that up a little bit again. Okay. So I'm going to rename that Head B. Head B. Okay. Not the queen bee, but the head bee. So, okay. And that's going to give me an alternate head for that base mesh. Let's go ahead and hide that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and save this out because I want to keep that to make stuff out of later. So I'm going to put that over in another folder. And I'm going to save you and replace since it's got another head in it now. And then we get rid of all those out of the file and lighten up the file here. Okay, so now I want to save this since I've gotten up to this point on my work because I was working on some stuff the other day and it crashed and I lost some stuff and I got really upset about that. And so I had to redo some things and I don't like redoing things. So yeah, I'd like to have some of those Space Hulk molds. Of course, I could make my own Space Hulk molds. Like I've got time to do that. Maybe I'll just stick to doing some of this stuff for a while and try to get caught up on that. But that would be awesome, though. I've seen they ran like 3D versions of Space Hulk at Adepticon or whatever. A few years ago, and the pictures looked pretty amazing. Let's try to give this guy, try to give him some cheekbones here. Yeah, that's not what I want to do. I'm gonna have to undo that because it's starting to distort the eye, and I need to separate that again because I'm I want them to stay round. So we'll split those out as their own object while I'm working on the head. Okay, now I can go back to try to inflate this a little bit, bring that out. Bring out his eye ridge a little bit. Yeah, okay, so now what I want to do is I want to try to keep this nose line along here. So let's widen out the brush. We're going to go back to orb cracks and start here. Kind of smooth that out. Yeah, that's working. That's making him shark-like. All right, so let's move this up a little bit, kind of in line with that. All right, and we'll kind of work around the eye here a little bit. I want to set that further back, and then we'll bring that back around. Once I remesh it, then I'll be able to detail the eyes out a little bit more. So yeah. Let's see, curve strength is driven by the Z remesh guide brush. Let's see, if you use the Z remesher guide brush, paint on the topology flow you want, and then drop the adaptive size to around 10. Curve strength 75, you'll get a nicer topology. Oh yeah, I'll have to mess with that. I don't really go in and experiment a lot with the different brushes and the brush settings and everything, which I should, because it would probably improve my workflow a little bit. Yeah, I'll have to go back and check that out and try the guide brush. That's yeah, boy, that was back in the day. Hey, and Brian, you gave me a copy of Space Hulk. I think it was the most. I don't think it was the most recent edition. It was the edition like before the last one that came out. And I've got the box up in the attic, and I've got the sprues for the Gene Stealers and stuff up here on the top shelf. So, because I had gotten those out, because I think Vicky wanted to paint those for her Tyranid army, and yeah, they're still on the sprue, because stuff. But I've got them, and they're cool. So hey, I'm getting some red flags or whatever on my streaming bandwidth or whatever. Are you guys getting? Is it still getting smooth audio and video out there, or is it dropping out? And it may, I mean, Vicky may be watching a movie up at the house. I don't know. So that might be causing a problem with our bandwidth. So yeah, I'm not sure what you guys are seeing versus what I'm seeing. But I want to kind of smooth this out. Let's see, bring that back out. Kind of makes me want to be playing the Jaws soundtrack while I'm sculpting these guys. So, let's see, we'll run that again. Smooth for me, no chop. It froze once. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Shane. I don't know. Hey, Brian, are you on fiber, or have you got like cable or something like that? Um, Man, I remember when we were living in Mesquite. I think James was the first one to get cable internet, like in our area when we were out there, and it was like, oh, that's awesome. And so we had to wait for it to come to Mesquite. And yeah, I think that's looking like our other Alanti. So, all right, let's work some details around the eyes here and see if I can get something going on around there. Okay. All right. Then, let's see. Crank those up. We'll go down here. Those are, yeah. All right, that looks like it's probably going to be paintable. Like I would imagine that you could get like paint, like your wash or contrast paint or whatever, liners or something down in there and outline the eyes and so forth. So I think that'll work. All right. So let's do another version of that. And I'm going to duplicate this and turn that one off. And then I want to, let's see, I'm going to go up here to my lasso. Let's see. Yeah, okay. No. Okay, and this is, I think the jaw hinge is probably going to be right about there. So bring that down, kind of shorten that out. Yeah, something a little like that. All right, and then let's see. take care of that crease. And then I'm gonna remesh this again. Ooh, it looks like I missed some stuff up here. Gonna smooth that out. Okay. All right. So I'm thinking that let's try the knife curve. That's always fun. Let's see. I'll go to here. That didn't do it. That doesn't always work. Let's see. I had done that before. Let's see if I can get that. Just drop that out of there. Nope. Okay. Go back over to our standby. Not that. Will you do it? Okay. I'm going to have to do that the hard way then. And it's thinking again. This is a good opportunity to hydrate. Everybody take a drink. Yay. Oh, yeah, I don't normally work with subdivision levels on. That's why I didn't think about that. I normally just delete those as I'm working. Actually, I'll just cancel that since it's taking so long. Let's go back to here. Let's see, where was I? Yeah. We'll start there and delete that. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot easier. That's a lot easier to work with now. Yeah, there's always something that I forget that I'm doing while I'm working on stuff. I remember I was messing with something for like 5 minutes one time, and I couldn't tell that I had it masked, and I was like, why won't this grab the thing? And it's like, well, because it's masked. And so then I turned the mask off, and it's like, oh, because I couldn't even see that it was darker than, you know, what I was working on. So it's crazy. It does, you do stuff and then you don't do stuff and forget things, and it's just like, oh, I'm thinking ahead. And so, all right, so I think I want to do this. Of course, that's going to be easier to see once he gets his choppers in there. Okay, so let's see. I'll remesh that one more time. And then that'll give me something to start with. So it's running that process on there again. And then I'm going to put some choppers in his mouth. And I'm kind of thinking how I'm going to do that. There's a couple of ways. Sometimes I'll take just, half of a cylinder and, for the gums, and then I'll just sculpt the teeth into it. That's what I did for Spar. In this one, I may make a tooth and then make an array around that and then mesh all of it together. So I think I'm going to try that. So let's go. Let me grab my cylinder object, and I'm going to insert that. Okay. So actually, I only need half a cylinder. So, actually, I'm going to leave that on so I can tell where it is. Let's go to clip curve. I'm going to draw my line across there, squash that, and then yeah, that's a good reminder. It's been a while since I've saved that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this at that point. So that looks like it's about the right. Bring that down. Out here. Okay. That actually kind of looks fun, just as it is. He's got a serious overbite. Of course, now sharks do have a serious overbite. That is for sure. So they've got that top hinged jaw that, well, yeah, I guess their upper jaw, whatever that is, that swings down. I know the great whites do. So, okay. Let's go back to the head mesh and kind of widen that out a little bit. Yeah, there we go. He's yelling. All right. So now I'm going to go to here. We're going to use this as a guide in order to put the teeth on there. So all right. I really need to make like an insert mesh thing for these primitives. because I've got them remeshed a particular way. Is that what I want? How is that? Yeah, okay. Let's try this. We're gonna go here. Okay. And then I'm sure there's like a whole bunch of different ways to do what I'm about to do, but this is going to be kind of fun. So okay, so I'm going to take this cube or this triangle object, and let's see if we can taper it into shape. Okay. That's not what I want. Okay, let's see. Because what I'm trying to do is get a profile on it. Where? Oh yeah. Let's see. I want you to come out this way and this way. Yeah. Okay. Right. That's weird. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to do either. All right, I'm gonna have to do it a little piece at a time. Okay, so let's taper it on this axis first. So we'll go here, and then we'll leave that. But I'm gonna pinch that off. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of shark tooth like. Okay. I don't know where I'm going with that. I think it may be better just to do this and then do this. And let's see, rotate that 45. Is that squared? Yeah, kind of. There we go. Okay. Still not right. Yeah, that's not going to work. Let's see. I haven't made any shark teeth before in this. So this is all just trial and error. Huh. Okay. Huh. Let's go back to the cube. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. All right. roughly something like that. Okay. So let's cut those edges off. Let's see. Let's go. We'll go back to geometry. I'm going to divide it up a little bit. And then I'm going to inflate it some to give it some rounded corners. And then, let's see, let's remesh it. I think that's what I was trying to do. Something like that. So. Yeah, I would imagine that dentists would be, well compensated for their efforts. I wonder what Alanti braces would be like. Maybe I should make like a little Alanti kid with big giant shark braces on. I think that would be hilarious. So let's see. Okay. Before I do that, let's go. Okay, and go back here. Yeah. I think that might work. I think that just might work. Does that look? So look, it looks kind of like a shield, but it's also very tooth-like. Uh-oh. I have confused it. All right. So let's do this. We're going to Dynamesh that because there's some weird geometry in it. And then remesh it. Perfect. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we'll go back to our our tiny little gum object. Okay. And so what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of resolution to the gum object, and then I'm going to go and inflate it just a little bit to kind of round the edges out. And then we're going to go and let's see, remesh that again. We'll remesh it. We're meshing, and it's thinking. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I have a feeling that like once this miniature is printed, that the teeth on this thing are going to be about 1 millimeter tall or so, maybe a little bit smaller. So we'll see if the serrations show up. So we'll see. More like a scale. Yeah. I can see it looks very scale-like. That would be. You can make an insert mesh brush out of that and do some scales. So. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go back to that. And let's put this over here. Okay. Kind of even out that mesh on the gums. And then divide that. All right. Okay, so let's see. Where'd you go? Okay, so we'll try putting it about there, and then, oh, I know what I know what the problem is, what it's doing. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. I'd forgotten I had turned that on. There it is. Okay, so now we can set those up. Let's give that a test. Yeah, it looks pretty shark-like. Okay. So all I got to do is drag out some other and duplicate those and set them in where they follow the gum line. And make sure there's not a lot of overlap on that. And then maybe I do this. And really do give him an overbite. Oop. Okay, I'm going to drag out another set. And those are going to go here. Yeah, okay. All right. So now I have an array of shark teeth, and I think that I need to do this to them a little bit. They need to be, can I inflate them? Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. That's looking chunky. That's looking like some chunky teeth. And then I'll go back and clean these gums up, and then it will look like a cool tooth array. All right. So let's go up to the gum object, and we'll see if we can get that sorted out. Let's see. Let's go to the orb cracks brush, and we'll go to the inside of the mouth here. And there's usually something that looks kind of like this on the inside of the mouth. Maybe there's a thing going through here. I don't know. But we'll bring those gums in. And actually, I need to kind of build this up a little bit to sort of reinforce those teeth, because I don't want these little objects breaking off. So you can kind of cheat, and like this was what we would do in the putty days, is we'd kind of backfill a lot of the inside of the mouth up to the back of the teeth, because it's, you know, inside the mouth, it's like you're not going to see it, but it allows, or you're not going to see it as much, and it provides some reinforcement for these thin little bits that like stick off of something. So like if it's being molded and you got to pull it out of a mold, it's gonna hold up to that. And I know that it's going to be a 3D print, so it's not really going to be molded, but still it may be handled or tooled or whatever as you're working on it. So I want to make sure that, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me go the other way. So I want to make sure that it's durable, it's reinforced for modeling and painting and so forth. Okay. So, all right. And then let's see, should we do some stuff like that? Yeah, we'll do some stuff around the gums like that. do this kind of thing, which always is fun to paint. All right, I'll set these gums back in there. He's going to need some tartar, I would imagine, or whatever it's called, the the equivalent of shark tartar, I guess. Tartar sauce, would it maybe? I don't know. Bring that back out a little bit, and then detail that in there. Yeah, okay, all right. That's looking pretty gum-like, pretty gummy. It's looking pretty gummy. Okay, so let's add a little bit of geometry to that, kind of smooth it out a little bit. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this object and merge that down onto that object, and then I'm going to turn those off, and I'm going to make this all one poly group. Okay, and then we'll go, let's see, turn that off, and then we're gonna check out what his bite looks like. Okay, so we'll go ahead and that's pretty big. So we'll see if we can adjust that. Let's turn those off. Okay. So yeah, it's looking kind of toothy there. He's looking pretty toothy. I think what I want to do is I want to kind of bring him back inward just a little. So let's hide that. We'll go over here and taper that in just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, ooh, and it kind of sharpened him up. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the air compressor just popped on out on the dock. So yeah. All right. So we'll check that. There we go. Yeah. Okay. He's looking sharkified. All right. So let's duplicate that, and then we'll make that a little bit smaller. Bring that down here. Rotate that 180 degrees. All right. Uh-oh. I hope it didn't crash. Hey, let me go ahead and save that while I've got the chance. While I've gotten all that work done. So, let's see. Alanti actually only have one row of teeth. Of course, they may have others that are like behind these, but for the sake of, you know, modeling it or doing the sculpting and stuff on it, that's not really going to matter much at this point. So, all right, there we go. Kind of bring those guys forward a little bit, and then I go up here, and then let's see. And bring those guys back a little bit. Angle them like that. Okay. Okay, so then it's just a matter of adjusting some stuff so that they kind of fit inside the mouth a little bit better. So let's go ahead and lower or hide the lower set of teeth. And I'm going to go back here and rearrange that. Let's see if I can kind of widen these guys out. Let's check what I got going on there. Okay. So I'm going to go back up to the head object. And I want to select the move tool because I want to bring this back just a little bit and maybe out. Show a little bit more the inside of the mouth. Yeah. This is actually kind of fun looking to me. I don't know. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying watching this because it's I don't know. It's turning out different than I was expecting, but it's actually kind of cool looking. So let's see. Okay, and where's, yeah. All right. Okay, so I've got a little bit of time left. I am going to probably run some textures on this guy like we did last time. We'll try to pick some different stuff and see what that's going to look like. Yeah. Let's see. Let's turn this perspective on. That's looking pretty cool. I'm probably going to need to run some details on the inside of the mouth. Let's see, where this goes back. I'm getting some stretching and stuff in there. I can remesh that later on. Let's go ahead and turn perspective off again, and then yeah, that might work. Okay, just want to make sure that there's something interesting in there for you guys to paint whenever you're painting. But he's got some big chompers, which will be pretty cool to paint those for sure. So let's see. they vocalize. I mean, they talk. So I guess the Alanti would have a uvula. I don't know how important that is to. I know you need vocal cords and some other stuff. So I would imagine they'd have whatever they'd need in there to be able to talk or do whatever. No, actually, this is going to be 3D printed here at the shop. And even if we weren't going to be selling the direct 3D prints, and I was going to be molding it, it'd still mold. I mean, I'd still be able to get, the silicone out and so forth. There's not enough of there's not really much of an undercut on it, that it would catch too much in there. I mean, it would still it would still pull out okay. So, but just to give you an idea, that's not what I wanted. Transparent. Let's turn that on. So yeah, so these teeth are probably about 1 millimeter or so. Yeah, so they're pretty small. Once once it's cast at size. Or I'm sorry, once it's printed at size. So okay, so I'm going to go back over here and let's go to the standard brush, and I'm going to see if I can find, I'm going to load that alpha that's got my scale textures in it. Is it there? It's not there. It's over in the other folder. Yeah, it's these. Okay, so which one do I want? Let's go with this one. And I think I fixed it. Oop, let's see. I need to pick drag and then we'll turn this off. And yeah. Okay, so I need to punch up his resolution just a little bit. A lot. Yeah, let's go there. All right. Yeah, there we go. All right. So we'll put some big old scales on him. Oop. See if we can get that to overlap. And I'll smooth some of those out. All right, well, we're gonna want to make sure that that seat's back in the, yeah. Well, they're looking like barnacles. I think I ramped up the intensity on it too much. Let's try this. Yeah. Okay. Let's try to put it there. Okay. And yeah, it looks like it's filling in. I've got some other ones that I can put in between there. Yeah. Okay. So let's try this guy. Oh, yeah. To get those guys on the other side. Let's see. right, then I'm going to have to go back and work with his torso to kind of get that to fit a little bit better. We'll pose that and rework it a little bit. So let's see. I'm going to go back and pick. Let's see. Is it this one? I think that's one I can do a little bit smaller. Let's go ahead and give it some textures over here. All right. Kind of smooth that out a little bit. And I think what I'd like to try is to kind of hit the top of those and kind of flatten them out a little bit. Okay, so let's see, we're going to duplicate the eyes. We'll move those up to here. So I've got an extra set for the neutral head. And we'll go ahead and merge that down. Turn the color back on. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and merge this together. Because everything... Let's check the polygroups on it so I can separate it later. Let's color that differently. And then, yeah, okay. All right. And where's our... I'll turn the eye color back on. Okay. So at least now we've got a head object that I can go and pose. Let's see what he looks like with the rest of him. So, and again, I'm gonna have to go and adjust these proportions and stuff to get everything to line back up. Right. So let's check our... I think what it is it's the silhouette. It's the silhouette of this. It's like this line isn't matching where I want that to. So let's mask off these other areas, and I'm going to pick the move brush and see if I can move that back to that line without let me turn symmetry back on so that it gets both sides. What if I do that? Well, no, that's not what I want. Let that do it, yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this folder and take a look at the reference that I had for these guys. Let's see. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. Something, it's not exactly this, but it's something like that. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have to adjust a lot of this stuff in order to get that to kind of line up a little bit more. And I think that he also needs a fin on the back end of his head. So let's just drag one in and see what that looks like. Let's go to, I've got a, hey Brian, thanks for dropping in, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Take care. Thanks. We will catch up later. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go to, well, oh, let's see. Where did I put the Zari? I think she's in here. So we'll open her base figure up, and I'm going to grab the fin on her head. We'll get that to load. There we go. So there's the base sculpt for Zari. And I'm going to go, let's turn all that off. That's not what I wanted either. Okay, turn that on. And then we'll do this. Pick the, okay, auto groups. And then delete. And we'll go over here. Insert fin. I think it's just because it's so large. Yeah, that's coming along a little bit better. And that connection point is probably going to be hidden with this. So let's go ahead and snag that. Let's see. Turn those on so I can see what I'm doing. I'll split that off. And then we'll go back to here. See if we can put this collar on there. Let's get rid of all that. And I think that Okay, yeah, that's coming along. So again, I've probably got quite a bit more work to do on that, but at least I was able to get most of him blocked out. So still got the torso to go, and maybe the vest, like I was talking about, put a vest on him, which would be kind of cool, and then maybe some different equipment pouches, holster, and then he's going to be carrying a big auto pulsar rifle. So, oh, hey Timothy, thanks for jumping in. I appreciate you joining. I was just about to wrap up, uh, so I'm sorry you had just come in, and we're going to be signing off here in a minute. So I was just wrapping up this little section. I've got this lance guard. I've got him kind of blocked out. I kind of like the fin. I'm thinking that the fin kind of adds a lot to it. So I think I may have to adjust that a little bit, kind of scooch it around. Let's see. I don't know if I can. Yeah, there we go. So I bet that probably adds a lot. I may shorten it just a little bit. Let's see. I've got to watch the curvature there where it fits, but yeah. But he's getting there. So I think that's where I'm going to leave off on this guy tonight. And then I should be able to get that finished up and get him posed up tomorrow. So that's I should be able to have that done. So I've got Zari, and then I'll have this guy done. So I'll have the Alanti done. That means I'll be down to sculpting on the Shrenar next, and then I'll have to do the humans and everything. I'll have to power through those before next Wednesday. So, because I'm going to need to have these guys posed and painted up so that I can render those out for the cover art. But let's see, what do I have left? I've left on that. Yeah, so this is going to put me, when I get this guy finished up, that'll put me at the halfway point, and then I'll have 4 more figures to do. So I'll have 2 more Alanti and 2 more, 2 more Shrenar and the 2 humans. So let's see. Where's my calendar? Okay. So this week, that's us today on the 15th. So I will be sculpting live again next Wednesday, and I'll be at 6 p.m. We'll be starting again. And then, let's see, the 29th will be after the Kickstarter launch, because the Kickstarter's launching on Monday, and we're going to be live streaming there. So I probably won't be having a live sculpting stream on that Wednesday, and then we'll pick up, it's Passover, and we'll be picking up on April the 5th again. So I think we're going to take that week, off of sculpting, since we'll be live streaming probably Monday, and then Vicky and I may do another live stream on Friday. But I will post that on our, Facebook groups and so forth, and over in the Discord. And if you guys haven't joined the Discord yet, pop on over. There's a link down below in the description to be invited to the Discord server. So that's where I was able to get to this week on this guy, and it's mainly just sculpting on his head and his teeth and so forth. But anyway, appreciate you guys sitting in. And Timothy, be sure and rewind and check out the show from the beginning. You can start it over once we wrap up here and watch the stuff from where we started. So I'm sorry you were in training and so forth for the first part of the show, but I'm glad you were able to jump in here towards the end and kind of see the preview of one of the Alanti for the Kickstarter. So thanks for jumping in, Shane. I appreciate you guys being in the chat. That really, it keeps me company while I'm doing this here in the evenings and working on this stuff. I really appreciate that. So I am going to go ahead and sign off, and I will see you guys next week. And here's our weekly message from Shopcat. So I will see you guys next week. Thanks. Shopcat says, Riverdance on over to bombshellminis.com. She's very excited for you to check out all of our new releases and offers for March. Be sure to scroll down and check out all of the links for this particular episode. And be on the lookout for our Kickstarter project that'll be launching on Monday the 27th. Also, like and subscribe on the video here and on our channel. That will really help us out, and we'll see you next week.